All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive into manifesting, like actually attracting what you want in life. We're going to be looking at this popular podcast. It's called Manifest Your Life. And basically, we're going to pull out all their best techniques and stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating topic. I mean, I think there's definitely, I guess some people might call it a woo-woo side
Right.
to it, but there is also this surprisingly practical side to it all.
Yeah, for sure. It's not just like, wishing on a star, right?
Yeah.
There's actual things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's all about understanding how your thoughts and your beliefs actually shape your reality, which is pretty cool.
Totally. And one of the things that jumped out at me in this podcast was like, they were super big on clarity,
Mhm.
like being super clear about what you want to manifest, like even down to the little tiny detail.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's actually where most people they kind of mess up,
Yeah.
They'll have these vague ideas like, "Oh, I want more money," or "I want like a better relationship." But they don't actually get down to like the specifics.
Right.
So it's kind of like sending a fuzzy radio signal out there. You're not going to get a really clear message back.
So how do we get that clear signal then?
Okay, well, they actually gave this perfect example. They said, instead of just saying something like, "I want a new job," which a lot of people say,
Right.
you'd be better off saying something way more specific.
Right.
Like, "I want a job as a graphic designer at a creative agency where I can, really use my skills to make cool designs, stuff that matters, and where I feel like appreciated by the people I work with and inspired."
Well, okay, that's pretty specific, but yeah, I can see how that would really focus your energy.
Totally. Like, it's really about outlining exactly what you want in a way that you can almost touch it, in a way that you can, measure it.
Right.
So it's like you're creating this blueprint for the universe,
Yeah.
basically, for it to actually work with.
Okay, so let's say we've got our blueprint. Then what? Like, what's the next step in this whole manifesting thing?
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. It's all about visualization. And it's more than just daydreaming, okay?
Okay.
It's about using all of your senses and really feeling those emotions, like as if what you want is actually already happening.
Okay, so like if I want to say manifest this amazing new job,
Uh-huh.
I should actually picture myself like sitting at my desk and feeling how exciting it would be to work on these creative projects.
Yes, exactly. And podcasts, they really stressed how important it is to get into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Like, what does your office even look like? What are you wearing? Who are you, chatting with? Like, the more you can make it real in your head, the stronger that visualization becomes.
Huh. So it's kind of like tricking your brain into thinking it's already happened.
Exactly. It's really wild, but when you start to believe something deep down, it can actually change how you act in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
So how does that even work?
Okay, so let's say you're picturing yourself giving a presentation at work, and you're doing it confidently, like you're nailing it. The more you play that scene in your head, your mind kind of starts to accept it as a real possibility. And then that belief can kind of spill over into your actual actions. Like you might speak up more in meetings or maybe volunteer to actually give a presentation because you've already seen yourself doing it successfully in your mind.
Oh, wow. That's kind of like, when athletes use those visualization techniques to get better.
Exactly. It's all about training your mind to see success as a real possibility, which then kind of pushes you to take action and be open to opportunities that'll help you get there.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get this. But let's be honest, like it's totally normal to have doubts, right? So how do we deal with those negative thoughts that try to sneak in, mess everything up?
That's where affirmations come in. The podcast host talked a lot about this, like the power of saying positive things about yourself and what you want,
Mhm.
repeating those statements over and over.
So instead of thinking I'm not good enough to land this job,
Uh-huh.
I would tell myself I am talented, I am creative, and I deserve a career that, that really fulfills me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it might feel a little corny at first,
Yeah.
but the more you say these affirmations, the more they start to reprogram your subconscious.
Oh, interesting. So it's like creating new pathways in your brain,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Yeah. And they actually had this great tip to make it even more effective. They said to pick 3 affirmations that you really connect with and say them every single day, ideally out loud.
I love that.
Mhm.
Such a simple thing to do.
Right. And you can do it anywhere, anytime, in the shower, in your car, while you're cooking.
Yeah, it's like a daily dose of positivity and self-belief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more those beliefs start to take hold in your mind, and then they start to influence how you act too.
So, okay, we've got clarity, we've got visualization, and we've got affirmations. So what's next?
Action. And this is where a lot of people, they trip up,
Mm.
They think manifesting is all about sitting around, picturing stuff, and then waiting for it to just appear.
Yeah, but that's not really how it works, right?
No, not at all. Manifesting is more like a partnership. It takes effort from you, too. You got to take action in the real world, stuff that lines up with what you want.
So it's not just about having these big dreams, it's about actually doing things to make them happen.
Exactly. So let's go back to that job example. Yeah, you got to know what you want, visualize it, use those affirmations to pump yourself up.
Right.
But you also got to do the practical stuff. Update your resume, talk to people in your field, and, actually apply for jobs.
Right, of course. It's like you're meeting the universe halfway, putting your intention out there, doing the inner work, and then actually taking steps to make it happen.
Exactly. And the people they interviewed on the podcast, they were adamant that it's not even just about those big, obvious actions. It's also about being open to unexpected opportunities that might pop up along the way. They called it inspired action.
Oh, interesting. So, say I'm trying to manifest that graphic design job.
Hmm.
I might randomly meet someone at a coffee shop, and they happen to know about the perfect opening at their agency.
Exactly. Or you get an email about some design workshop that teaches you a new skill, and it makes you even more qualified for that dream job.
So it's about staying open to those little synchronicities, those little hints from the universe.
Totally. And trusting that even if things don't go exactly as planned, there's a bigger plan happening that's ultimately guiding you towards what's best for you.
I like that. Takes the pressure off of having to control every single thing. So let's see, we've got clarity, visualization, belief, and action. Is that basically it?
There's actually, there's a bit more to it. We'll get into that in a second.
Okay, you got me hooked. All right, so there's more to manifestation than just those, what was it, 4 steps?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are some, subtler aspects to it that are just as important, I think. One that they talked about on Manifest Your Life that really kind of hit home for me was this idea of surrender.
Surrender, like giving up. That doesn't seem very proactive.
No, not like giving up. More like letting go of trying to control every little thing and just trusting that the universe has got your back in a way.
Okay.
Like accepting that things might not always go exactly the way you picture them, and that's totally fine.
So instead of like micromanaging every step, we should, what, focus on the big picture and then just let go.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like planting a seed. You can't force it to grow, but you can give it the right conditions to thrive. Sunlight, water, good soil.
Right.
And it's kind of the same with your intentions. You nurture them with clarity, visualization, action, all that stuff. But then you got to trust the natural process to do its thing.
That's a good analogy. I can see how trying to force things could backfire.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, that whole idea of releasing resistance, that was another big theme on the podcast.
Okay.
They talked about how your own limiting beliefs, those negative thoughts you have, can kind of block the energy you're putting out there.
So those I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this thoughts, they can really sabotage your efforts.
Oh, yeah, big time. They're like weeds in the garden of your mind, basically, choking the good stuff.
So how do we weed the garden then?
Well, they had a couple of techniques. One was just notice those negative thoughts when they come up, but don't judge yourself for having them. Just acknowledge them and let them pass.
It's like watching clouds drift by, right?
Exactly. You don't try to grab onto them, you just let them come and go.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you practice that, the less power those thoughts have over you.
Right, right.
They also said it can be really helpful to actually challenge those thoughts.
Oh, interesting.
Ask yourself, is this thought really true? What proof do I have that it's true?
Yeah, often when you really look at it, you realize those beliefs are based on old stories or past experiences, things that might not even be relevant anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And once you start questioning those beliefs, they kind of lose their grip on you. And you can choose to replace them with something more positive, like those affirmations we talked about.
So it's about becoming aware of the negative stuff and then consciously choosing to focus on the positive, the things that support you.
Yeah, and that shift in mindset, it can really make a big difference in your ability to manifest.
Okay, so we've got surrender, we've got releasing resistance. What else did Manifest Your Life talk about?
They were big on gratitude. Like that can seriously boost your manifestation power.
Gratitude. So being thankful for what you already have.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus from a place of like, I don't have enough to, I have so much to be grateful for. When you're thankful for the good stuff in your life, it's like sending this message out to the universe that you're ready to receive even more.
It's like saying, hey, universe, thanks for all the awesome stuff. I'm ready for more.
Right. And the energy of gratitude, it can be super magnetic. It attracts more good stuff into your life, more blessings, more opportunities.
So instead of dwelling on what we're missing, we should focus on what we have and appreciate it. That sounds like a much happier way to live, honestly.
Oh, for sure. And it doesn't mean pretending everything's perfect. Just finding things to appreciate, even when things are tough. Be a beautiful sunset, or a good cup of coffee, a nice chat with a friend.
Yeah, those little moments of joy and appreciation, they can really add up, right?
Totally. It's like training your mind to focus on the good,
Yeah.
and then more good stuff just seems to flow your way.
Okay, I like that.
Another important thing they highlighted was aligning your actions with your values.
Meaning, it's not enough to just think positive thoughts and visualize. We actually have to, live those values.
Exactly. When your actions match up with your core beliefs, there's this sense of integrity, being true to yourself.
Right.
And that can be really powerful. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, the right resources, things that are in sync with who you really are.
It's like you're sending out this clear message. This is who I am. This is what I stand for.
Exactly. It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And it doesn't have to be these huge dramatic actions. It can be small things you do consistently that move you in the right direction.
So if one of my core values is, say, creativity, I might make sure to paint or write or do something creative every day, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's about making choices that honor who you are and contribute to the life you want to build.
These are some really good insights. So we've got surrender, releasing resistance, gratitude, and aligning our actions with our values. Anything else we need to know on this manifestation journey?
Oh yeah, one more biggie, patience.
Right.
Manifesting doesn't always happen overnight.
Makes sense. It's like that saying, good things come to those who wait. But it's not just about sitting around and waiting, is it?
No, definitely not. It's about working toward your goals and at the same time trusting the timing of the universe, finding that balance between effort and surrender.
Which, as we've learned, can be a bit of a balancing act.
It can. And it's totally normal to get impatient sometimes or feel discouraged. But just remember, you're not alone in that.
Yeah, we all go through it. It's part of the journey.
And it's often those challenging moments that help us grow the most, too.
That's a good way to look at it. Okay, so to sum up, manifest your life. Emphasize these extra elements. Surrender, releasing resistance, gratitude, aligning our actions with our values, and being patient.
Those, plus the 4 main steps we covered before, that's a pretty solid foundation for creating a life that's really in line with what you're meant to do.
Yeah, it's like building a toolkit for conscious creation. This has been super helpful. But I'm curious, did the podcast offer any specific techniques for putting these principles into practice?
Oh yeah, definitely. They had some really practical tips and exercises that we can dive into. Want to hear about those?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Okay, so we were talking about those practical tools from Manifest Your Life, the ones for actually putting all this manifestation stuff into action. What do they suggest?
Well, one that they were really big on was this idea of keeping a manifestation journal,
Oh, interesting.
like a dedicated journal just for that. They said it's super simple, but it can really make a difference.
Okay, so what do you write in a manifestation journal? What's it all about?
It's basically a place to write down your goals, what you want to manifest, and track how it's going.
Okay.
And also, it's good for writing those affirmations we talked about, just to keep them top of mind.
So it's kind of like a roadmap for your whole manifesting journey.
Yeah, exactly. A place to keep track of what you want and how you're working towards it. And they said it's not just about writing things down once and forgetting about it, though. It's good to actually go back and read what you wrote, reflect on it, celebrate your wins, that kind of stuff.
Makes sense. It's easy to get caught up in day-to-day life and forget about the big picture.
Right.
So going back and reading your journal can help you stay on track.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of celebrating wins, they were really big on that, too. Like acknowledging even the smallest victories along the way.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
It's like giving yourself little rewards, for
Yeah.
sticking with it. Keeps you motivated, especially when you're feeling stuck or whatever.
Totally. Builds that positive momentum. Okay, what else?
Another cool tool they talked about was creating a vision board.
Ooh, vision boards. I've heard of those. Isn't that where you cut out pictures and words from magazines and stuff representing what you want to manifest?
Yeah, exactly. Like a visual representation of your dream life, basically.
Okay.
And as they said, it can be really powerful just seeing it all laid out there.
So, like, if I'm trying to manifest that graphic design job, I'd put up images of, like, inspiring studios or, like, quotes about creativity, maybe a picture of myself looking super happy and successful at my dream job.
Yeah, exactly. And they said it's good to put it somewhere you'll see it every day, like your bedroom or your office. So it's a constant reminder of what you're working towards.
Right. Keeps those intentions front and center.
Exactly. Like planting those seeds in your subconscious.
Right.
The more you see those images and words, the more those desires will take root and grow.
So, we've got journaling, celebrating wins, and vision boards. Any other practical tips from Manifest Your Life?
Oh, yeah. They talked about like actually making manifestation a part of your daily routine.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Could be as simple as starting your day with a few minutes of gratitude journaling, or picturing your goals while you're in the shower, or listening to those affirmations during your commute.
Yeah, I like that. Little things you can do to stay connected to it throughout the day.
Exactly. Weaving it into your life so it just becomes natural. And they also said, make it fun. Don't make it a chore.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, it shouldn't feel like a burden.
Right. Manifesting should be an enjoyable thing, something you look forward to.
Exactly. Like, we're taking back our power,
Yeah,
choosing to create the life we want.
exactly. And the more you can approach it with a sense of playfulness and curiosity, like, more magical it becomes, honestly.
Wow, this has been so insightful. Okay, so just to recap, those key takeaways from Manifest Your Life are.
Being super clear about what you want, like getting down to the nitty-gritty details, visualizing with all your senses,
Mhm.
really feeling it as if it's already happening.
Using affirmations to change those negative thought patterns and like boost your self-belief, taking action, doing things in the real world that align with your goals. And then there's that idea of surrender, letting go of the need to control every little thing.
Yeah, and then don't forget gratitude, appreciating all the good stuff you already have in your life,
Yeah.
and releasing resistance, letting go of those negative thoughts without beating yourself up about them.
Oh, and making sure your actions match up with your values, walking the walk, basically. And being patient, trusting that things will work out in the right timing.
And of course, having fun with it.
Absolutely. Enjoy the journey and embrace that creative power.
Well said.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. But I feel like I have a much better grasp on this whole manifestation thing now, thanks to your insights and that awesome podcast.
Glad to hear it. And remember, manifestation is an ongoing thing. It's a journey of self-discovery.
So if you're feeling inspired to start manifesting your own dreams, keep those key principles in mind, play around with those techniques we talked about, and most importantly, trust yourself. Trust that you have the power to create the life you want.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And that wraps up our deep dive into the world of manifestation. Hopefully you found it helpful and empowering. Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep taking action, and keep creating the life you desire.